Hey, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Tracy and this is A Girl with Plans. In today's video, I'm going to be setting up my wellness planner for the week of February the 27th. If you guys have been following my channel, then this layout may look a little bit different, and that's because it is. I am changing up both my fitness and my wellness layouts for the month of March. So I had been using the gratitude layout for the past few months for wellness, but it really wasn't working for me. There's just too much space in the columns because it's more of a vertical type layout with a few dividers in between. But it's a lot of space, and it kind of gave me more anxiety because I felt the need to try to fill it up even when I didn't need to. So this is almost like a dashboard layout, but this is the recovery layout. So like the dashboard, you have your days of the week over here and you have your daily gratitude. The only main difference on this page from the dashboard is it has the today I feel, and I actually do track that in my wellness. So that was another thing that kind of drew me to this layout. Now this page is completely different. What they do is they have these prompts here. They have 5 prompts, and then like habit trackers here, and then, little areas to jot down stuff over here. So I am going to change the prompts a little bit to kind of fit what I kind of track. Another thing that I am doing this month differently is I have been going back and forth about where to track my sleep. And I don't know how long I'm going to be tracking my hours of sleep because I am usually consistent with my sleep hours. It's just probably for the past 4 months, I've been waking up super early, like 3:30, 4 a.m. That seems to kind of be remedying itself. I don't know what caused it, but now I am waking up a little bit later, and I'm sure when daylight savings time begins, then hopefully I'll be back to normal. So I'm not sure how long I'm going to be tracking that, but what I ended up doing was printing out a sleep tracker. You can find these on Etsy. I bought this as part of a pack that I had purchased, but basically you just mark the time you go to sleep and then the time you wake up, and I'm just going to use like one of these dual dot pens to dot it, and then it has my morning energy level. And I do track energy levels, but because I'll be tracking my morning energy levels on that, I'll only have to track 2 on here. So because this is going to be a very functional spread, I think what I'm going to do is limit my decor. Yes, you heard that correctly. I'm going to limit my decor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do symptoms here just because I don't have symptoms all the time. So therefore, this should be enough space. And if there's really bad days, then I can just use some of these to jot that down. So what I'm going to track here, obviously, I'm going to track my mood. I'm going to track my midday and PM energy levels because, again, my AM energy levels will be tracked on my sleep tracker. So I'm just going to be tracking those 2 energy levels. I'm going to be tracking my stress and anxiety levels, and I may separate those. I had been keeping those together, but I think I'm going to separate those, and that's pretty much what I'm going to be using here. So in a way, this is going to be kind of like journaling because I think I need to write down why I'm experiencing certain stress levels or why I'm experiencing certain anxiety levels. So let's talk about decor and boxes and how I'm going to be separating it. So I'm going to be using the Rainbow Colorful Boxes Mega Book. And the reason why is I'm going to kind of keep with, they have the color coded for different months. So I'm going to just play into that. And I probably would not be using these in many other spreads. And I think it'll actually be perfect for me to put for my midday and PM energy levels because they're only numbers. So I think that's what we're going to start out with. So I need 7 of them. I'm going to try to stick to some of the lighter ones, which are here, just so they show up. But I think I'm going to have to add some of those. So I'm going to go ahead and put those down first. And I'm just going to put them, I think it's just a perfect square. I'm just trying to figure out where the wide end goes. All right, so we have that one. So how is everybody doing out there? I hope everybody's doing good. Just curious, I know a lot of people do track some wellness. I shouldn't say wellness because, you know, everything's wellness, but they track like symptoms and sleep and things like that as part of their fitness. Just kind of curious to know some of the things that you track, and also whether or not you incorporate that into your fitness planners, or if you track it separately, or if you track it as part of like journaling. Just kind of curious what other people do. This is fairly new. I started doing a separate fitness and wellness trackers, or I guess planners. Started doing them separately back in October, just because there were just so many things that I wanted to track that I needed the space. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. I needed the space, so I had to utilize 2 separate planners for it. I mean, I guess I could have just used inserts or note pages, but, you know, at the time when I started tracking it, they had all the sales on the 18-month planners. So it was just as cheap to buy a whole new planner as it would have been to buy like more filler paper or like notebooks. So that's why I went that route. And I will say, with the recovery, this one kind of fell into my lap. I wasn't specifically looking for it. I found it at Ross and it was like $7. And I started flipping through it and I'm like, hey, I think I can use this. And if you've heard me say several times on my other Plan With Me, is I absolutely love the dashboard layout. And like I said, this to me is a modified dashboard layout. It's dashboard on this side. I don't know if that's going to come up. And then, you know, it has different prompts and stuff on the other. But I just love it. I just, like, for me, it's just so much less intimidating. Although, you know, I am using the vertical for my catch-all, and I'm making it work, and I'm kind of liking it for that. I'm adding a lot more things than I think I would have, or what I thought was necessary. I'm not going to get into that. We can talk about that when I'm doing that one, but I'm just, you know, I am kind of making it work, but I do think that these are a lot less intimidating. So that is why I kind of like this layout. All right, so that is that. I also have the Sophisticated Florals book, because they also have a lot of these kind of tan colors in here and peaches. And I was looking at this because I think I can use these for like headers. I don't think I'm going to add any boxes. I think I'm going to just pretty much, sorry guys, this will be a little boring because I'm going to leave this blank, at least early on. I may have to leave it blank in all of my spreads because you just never know how much you're going to write. Maybe as I'm writing, I might add dots with my zig. Actually, it's not a zig. It's a, it's a knockoff zig. But, you know, I might use those. So I do want to cover up the daily gratitude too. Let's see how this will go. Those little oval looking, these, is that long enough? Yeah, I probably should center it, I guess, maybe, I don't know, but it is long enough. So that's what it is. So like I said, this is, I'm going to use for any types of symptoms, which symptoms is kind of like migraines or, you know, nausea. Of course I had it perfect and now I don't. Just things like that. So any kind of like ailments I'm feeling, any joint pain too, because those are like symptoms of, those could be symptoms of something else and not just like over exertion or anything. Those could be symptoms of eating something that causes joint pain. So all that stuff will go here. Another book I pulled was, this is Stick Abilities from Hobby Lobby. These are like little cheap books, and then when they have them 40 to 50% off, it's even cheaper. They had these, which was very wellness related, and obviously I would have to limit the ones I use due to the colors. This one is still crooked, but I think, you know, I have to add more than just florals. I'm gonna have to add some other types of decor. Gotta keep it cute. All right, so before that, I don't know if you guys can see the prompts, so I'll just read them off. So these are weekly check-ins. It's what is taking up space in my head. I might actually leave that. That's not a bad one. Have I been selfish, dishonest, or afraid? What can I do differently? I think I'm going to change that one. Do I need to fix something? Do I owe an apology to anyone? A lot of times we need to owe apologies to ourselves for being so harsh on ourselves. So that wasn't a bad one. What have I done well? What small victories can I celebrate? And how can I help others or be of service? That's also a good one. I'm still trying to work out what I want to track here. These are going to be more of like self-reflection type things, kind of like mental clarity, mental strength, mental well-being type prompts. So what I might do is I might think on those. Obviously, when I do the flip throughs, I might not be able to show these pages because I do want to get truthful and honest with myself in that as well, because I find that when I do that for my journaling, it is very liberating to write some of that stuff down, to get personal in your journal, to get upfront and honest with yourself is very tough sometimes. And I just want to make sure that it is something that I can do. I love this sticker, Let Go and Grow. Oh my gosh, I love this so much, but I think it is way too big. I wonder where I could even put that. I might have to make like a divider or something and put that on it because that is so pretty. It's just, right now, I really want to utilize a lot of this, so that is just too big. Find the joy. Still think that might be too big too, because that's going to cut into my writing prompts. Oh, enjoy the little moments. Can I make that work? Because that, yes, I can make that work. And this is, oh my goodness. Like, if I couldn't make this work, I was going to make it work. Like, there was no way this was not going to work. Because this is so true. Actually, let me put this aside. After doing all of that, I'm going to put it aside. Do I have wax paper? I do have wax paper. Because I'm going to do florals. And when you do florals, I think I need to put those down first. So the florals are also going to come from this book. Did I have them marked? I did not have them marked. Tracy, what are you doing? You should have this stuff marked so we don't have to flip through. So I have these peach ones. Then we have these. All right, so I think I'm going to use this. Obviously, I've used some of these before, which is fine because I don't know. I think these are kind of big. And again, I don't want to take up so much space. I think it'll be easier for me to cut a right angle if I do it on the page versus trying to do it off the page. All right. This is just to jazz it up just a little bit. But like I said, I like the spine, so I do like that. Usually I don't like a lot of the decor that's already on here, but I think I can deal with this. But these are so big. Let me pull one of these smaller ones. I can definitely like, because I would like to do one over in here. So yeah, I'm just curious how many people, I know a lot of people do track symptoms. That is something that people do want to track in their planners. So I was just curious to know where you guys track that information at. I do think I still am trying to recognize my symptoms. I might put a sticker over this as well. I'm not going to white out the whole thing. I'm still trying to recognize some symptoms because sometimes I feel like, I don't want to say I ignore them, but sometimes I just, yeah, I guess I ignore them. You know, like I write it off to something else or something like that. So I'm trying to learn to be kind of more aware of how I'm feeling. That goes for mentally and physically. All right, so we have this one. This one now has like 2 right angles. That is, I'm gonna have to definitely put a sticker over that. Maybe I can find like another circle somewhere. A circle quote would be good. I am really at a loss of where to put these stickers. Can I layer? Let me see if I can do this. Sorry guys. It's sometimes decorating and talking is just, it's like rubbing your belly and patting your head at the same time. It's like I can't do both at once. I'm trying. Sorry guys. But yeah, so I do think I'm going to keep things separate just because my fitness, which I guess even though I track food in there, I still can call it fitness. That tracker, that planner, I call it a tracker a lot because that's kind of what I do is track things on there. But that, it just gets really, really full. So I find that I like really need the space for 2 because I really like what I track in there currently. Although I think maybe I'm going to have to start adding in what I'm eating in there as well. Even though I track it on my phone app, I think I need to visually see it because I have not been as good as I want to be when it comes to my eating habits. I'm not horrible with them. I'm not like, it's not like I'm not completely like upset or anything with that mess, you know, anything like that. But I don't think there's any other things in here. Can I do something like this? Maybe I can do one of those square ones. But yeah, definitely, it's just surprised how much I feel like I'm struggling when it's coming to eating. But they, you know, tell us like, you know, it's not always good to track calories and things like that. And that's true because I will tell you, it's not my calories that are the issue. It's what I'm actually eating. So it's the quality of the calories that I'm eating. So like I might not be actually seeing a difference on the scale because I'm not really increasing my calories, but I'm definitely noticing symptoms. Going back to symptoms, and I'll just give you an example. So I told you I track my AM and PM energy levels, and I'm going to tell you why I think that is important. Because I started noticing last month that it wasn't consistent. You know, before I kind of got optimal with my thyroid medicine, it was consistent. I would always crash in the middle of the day, every day, no matter what. So that was a consistent crash that was due to likely something, you know, medical wise, which it was. I needed to change my thyroid medicine dosage so that way I could have more energy. However, I've been having like inconsistent energy level crashes. So like some days, if I was measuring myself on a scale of 1 to 10, sometimes in the middle of the day, now the middle of the day for me is never as high as the morning. So like in the morning, my energy levels may very well be like an 8 to 9. I would never say it's a 10. I don't think I'm ever at a 10. But it's like an 8 to a 9. And then at nighttime, it can be anywhere from a 2 to a 4. Like I have no problems falling asleep because I just don't have any energy left at night. But during the day, my energy levels have been varying. And I find that when I'm not eating very well, Like if I'm eating a lot of sugar, that seems to be the culprit. Believe it or not, I will lose energy. And I say lose energy because to me it happens pretty fast. Like if I eat a lot of sugar for breakfast or like lunch, I would literally lose energy. I will say pretty much within the next hour or two. So it's not like I get all this energy. You know how they say like don't give kids sugar because they like bounce off the walls? Yeah, for me it's the complete opposite. You give me sugar and I am just going to like crash. So yes, I do have that sugar crash is the one thing that I do. We can put this here. Yeah, so I definitely have the sugar crash. And I, figured that out just because the days that I had sugar, cookies, and not just one cookie or two cookies. I had a couple of servings of cookies. I would notice that my energy levels were substantially lower than they were on other days. So yeah, I think there may be a correlation there with sugar and my energy levels crashing. So, that is something that I want to be aware of. I'm kind of glad I was able to pinpoint that. So I am trying to do, I don't want to say no sugar. I'm trying my best to do no sugar, no added sugars, because like sugar's in everything. All right, guys, if things look a little different, it's because my camera cut off my phone cut off, stopped recording because I got a call. So what I think I'm going to do here, I went ahead and whited that out. I think I'm going to end up whiting out all of them just to make them uniform. So I can still use the same prompts, but I feel like just to keep my spread pretty because, I can't add but so much here. I think I'm going to use this to kind of bring in some of that peach, but I definitely am going to have to trim it down because it's a little wide. So I'm going to pretty much have to cut it in half. So I'm going to measure. It looks like about right there. Don't you love my precision skills? I think I'm going to grab my bigger scissors because I think they'll be, I could use also my X-Acto knife, but I think this may be okay. I'm just eyeballing it here and I've already got it a little jagged, but I can just straighten that up. I'll have to straighten both of them up. All right. So let's see what this bad boy looks like. I think it'll work. Still would like it a little bit smaller, but that's like definitely beyond something that I'm capable of. If I try to get 3 strips out of it, plus I don't think I want to write a lot. I think I just want to use this to like, kind of like, I still want to use my journaling for most of my journaling. This is just kind of for me when I'm flipping back through the month. Just to kind of see what is going on. Actually, these are both be the same too because of her. So we'll just go a little bit over. Yeah, so like what my goal is here is just to write down like an overall like 1 sentence reflection for like what happened that month. I mean that week. So that way I can just kind of, I think it'll just be interesting, and it'll also be interesting to see how things change. Because while that's not straight. Because while I write in my journal, and I'm writing in my journal for also the purposes of reviewing them and reflecting on at a later time. I just think that when it's 1 sentence versus like multiple sentences, I'll definitely be more inclined to read it and follow up a lot more frequently. And I want to see changes in my mindset. I want to see what is going on, how I'm changing. Hopefully they're all moving in the right direction. I just think it's something good to keep track of, especially because that is a goal of mine. I want to be more positive. I don't even know if I did that well enough because I was nervous. Plus it's very, I'm gonna have to hold it. But yeah, because that's one of my goals for the positive mindset, I feel like reviewing this will be kind of, you know, kind of like a reality check in some ways. But it'll be kind of good to see how I need to adjust not only my goals, but my actions. Yeah, which is again part of I definitely have set some goals this year, and I want to try my best to meet those goals. I don't think they're super difficult. I kept them simple. So that way it was something that I could meet. All right, one more, guys, and this one is going to go here. I like it. So apparently you can dress up this spread. All right, so right there. I don't know why I put it down. I didn't need to put it down, but yeah. So I am kind of making this a little fun. And I did add midday and PM here. Maybe at some point, once I, you know, determine that this is working and like how I'm setting it up is actually working, I may get all fancy and like make some, maybe I'll just make some my own boxes with AM and PM in it. Kind of how I do like my macro trackers and my Apple Watch stats. Maybe it'll just be simple for me to do that. We'll see. Where's the other side? Is it bigger now? These are not straight at all. I probably should have put them on my cutting board. Not my cutting board. I have this like tiny Cricut mat that I bought specifically for this. Yeah, I'm not using it. I have all these great intentions and things that would be so good, but yeah, I don't really use it. All right. So then we'll just kind of cut around there. All right. That looks a lot better. So like I could use boxes like that, and I could do those. Like I don't. Experiences is weekly check-in, like I was gonna say. Like this one, like one of them was small victories. One's gonna be gratitude. So I think I could do that. I think it would work. All right, so we'll just start with gratitude. And I know that there's stickers for this, but there's not stickers for everything. We'll keep the small victory. Then I said goals, check-in. Then I wanted, what do I need to let go of? So I'll just say to let go of. And then my last one, and I had a great idea and it just went out the window. All right. So for my habits, I want to read, keeping it simple. these have been my habits that I've been tracking in my wellness journal pretty much the entire month of February and most of January as well. So I want to read, I want to journal. And the last thing I'm going to put is self-care. I'm going to keep this pretty much broad, but yeah. And then here I have a symptom sticker, but because I'm handwriting everything, I think it would look weird if I put my sticker there. All right. All right, that's it, guys. I hope this maybe gave you some ideas either for wellness tracking or just for utilizing this layout. Even if you use it for something different, it could just give you some ideas for prompts. Like, I mean, my goodness, you can probably even use this for like fitness. You can track your exercise, and today I feel actually works for that. You can also do your workout satisfaction, or you could say, which is what I'm doing in my fitness, is with these smiley faces, because I'm using the gratitude layout for fitness this month. With the smiley faces, they're not all smiley faces, but with the faces, I am using how I ate. Did I eat good, bad, or okay? So yeah, I mean, you could literally use this layout for anything. Like I said, I just covered these up and then added my own prompts because I do think it is good to kind of reflect throughout the week. All right, guys. That's it. It was a little longer than anticipated for so little decor, but I think this is a little complicated, so I did have to go in a little bit more detail about how I was going to use it. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much, and like I said, I hope you might have gotten something out of this one. If you guys did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not already subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel. And I do want to take this opportunity to thank all of my subscribers. It really means a lot. Like I said, it's really helping my channel grow. I am shocked and in awe by the support that I have been getting, especially because my channel is still fairly new. So I really do want to thank you for all of you who are tuning in and all of you that are subscribing to my channel. That is all I have for today. I do hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your day or the rest of your night. Thank you again for joining me, and until next time, bye.